In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a Google Slides document for your instructions and just go through a few things to help you create out your instructions. So first off, I'm in the Google Classroom, so let's head on over to the Google Drive and make sure we create the Google Slides in the correct place. Now, you'll notice that I can go straight to the slides, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure everything is organized. So I'm going to head into the Drives area. And then from here, I'm going to go to the folders that we created last week. So we have our Year 7 folder here. So let's just click into that. And we have our Computing Basics folder here. So let's just click into that. This is where I want to save everything. So you'll notice that I've already got my screenshot. This is just going to be one of the screenshots. So as you go through creating your instructions, you will need several screenshots to kind of illustrate how you're going through and you're doing this. But I've just done one just so I could illustrate the point. So now I'm in the correct folder. I can go over to the New button and I can create the Google Slides. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to give it a name. So the name that I'm going to give it is Instruction List. Okay, and then click away from it, and in a few seconds it will save. So you can see it's saved to Drive. It says last saved a few seconds ago. And it's important to note that anything you do in Google Docs or Google Slides does save quite quickly. Now for my instructions, I'm just going to use the blank theme, but if you want to go and use one of these fancy themes, that's absolutely up to you. I'm just going to use a blank one. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is just get rid of this subtitle, and I'm going to make this a bit narrow. So I'm going to move it up. I'm going to grab this handle here, and I'm just going to make it as small as I can, and then I'm going to call it How to Create a Folder. Okay. So now we have our title, and if you want to color that, you can. So say for instance you want to make it a bit smaller, you can make it a bit smaller. If you want to make it bold, you can do that. If you want to make it a different color, you can do that. I think you can even change the background. So if we said the background wants to be like that, so you have this nice fancy background, and there's so much more you can do in this toolbar. So you can change the alignment. If you wanted to make it go to the bottom, you could make it go to the bottom, or if you wanted to make it go to the middle, you could, or if you wanted to have it over on the right hand side, you can do all these sorts of things. But I'm just going to leave it like that. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to grab a shape, and I'm just going to grab a little circle, and I'm just going to draw out a circle. I'm going to hold down Shift. Now if you hold down Shift, it makes it a proper circle. If you let go of Shift, you can kind of make it all kinds of funny shapes, but I just want to make it a circle, and then I'm going to double click inside of it and just say 1. I'm going to change that to a bit bigger, and I'm going to make this center. Okay, so I have my first instruction, and I can just move it over to there. So now I've got this, I'm just going to add an image. So because I've already got my image in my Drive, and you will have to, when you take your screenshot, it will go in your Drive, and you just need to organize them, make sure they're in the correct folder. So I'm going to go to Insert, I'm going to go to Image, and I'm going to go to Drive, and it's going to have this sidebar. So it says Recent, but I want to go to Drive. I'm going to change the way this looks because I can't see the full title. So if you click on this button, it gives you a better list, and we're going to scroll down until I find my Year 7 folder. And then Computing Basics, and there's the screenshot that I want. So I can just drag that in, and there it is. If you want to make it smaller, you can. Also, when you go over the top, you'll notice that it hides the 1. So if you right click, there's actually an order button here, and you can send to back. So if you want it to kind of layer over the top of something like that, you can. So if you wanted to move the 1 so that it kind of sits there a bit, and I'm going to hold down Shift and click both of these together so I can actually move them in unison. The other thing you can do is you can actually draw shapes on top of it. So if you want to highlight the fact that you had this folder created and you wanted to write your list of instructions, you could do something like this. So you could grab a shape, you could grab another circle. This time, rather than holding Shift, just let it be free, and we're going to do that. Now, obviously at this particular moment, it covers it. So we're going to go up to the fill bucket, and we're going to say transparent. We're going to go to the border color, and we're going to change it to red. And then we're going to go to the border width, and And we're going to change it to something a lot bigger, just so it really highlights the fact that this is something that we did. The next thing is I just want to write a little arrow. So let's just grab an arrow. And let's once again make that a lot bigger as well. So let's go to the line width and make that 8. And then underneath I'm just going to do a bit of text. So the text will say something like, I created this folder by doing whatever. Or this is my first folder. You'll have to make your instructions a bit more explicit, and obviously you'll have to do better screenshots. So for instance, when I'm in the drive, the first screenshot that you're probably going to want to take is your mouse hovering over this button, or even like this. So hovering over the new button as your first instruction. And then your second instruction would want to be this one. And then your third instruction would want to be this one. And you could build up. If you want to put all 3 instructions on the same page, that's fine. If you want to put every instruction on a different page, that's also fine. Okay, and once again you can change the way this looks. At the moment the box that's created is absolutely huge, and we don't want that. We want it to be a lot smaller, and we want it to be in the right place. So let's just make it a little bit. Let's just shrink it and let's move it until we have it in the right place, and that's going to be directly under the arrow. Okay, so those are the sorts of things you're going to want to do. So you're going to want to have a title for each instruction, and if you are going to have a title and you want to label it, you could even put the number like that. So 1, how to create a folder. 2, how to click on the button. 3, how to do something else. Okay. For each instruction, you're going to want a screenshot. You're going to want to highlight the area. You're probably going to want an arrow, and you're probably going to want a bit of text. So that's the mission. It should take pretty much all of this lesson to create all of your lists, but give it a go. Have a little play around and see what you can get up with.